Hello everybody, I'm Rach. If you didn't know, well of course you don't know, this is my first video. I'm Rach. I am a 20-year-old non-binary lesbian and I am disabled. And I decided to start this channel, Disabled Sapphic, because I feel that there's not many disabled people. Well, I'm sure they're talking, but I don't see very many YouTube channels about disability awareness. So I decided I'll do it. It's a bit silly, but I wanted to get my opinions out there and to raise awareness about disabled issues. I'm also going to be talking about LGBTQ+ issues and part of being the trans community, as I am a non-binary. So that's what the channel's about. So hello, new channel. If you want to subscribe, that's fine. If you want to sorry. Yeah, so I apologise if I'm not looking at the camera through a lot of the video. I'm filming this with my phone, so I've got a big video of myself in the thing, so it's difficult not to look at that and look at the camera instead. So I apologise if I'm not giving you like eye contact. I'm sure I'll get better as I go along. So yeah, in starting this channel I asked my friends what should I do my first video about, and a few of them said the first question you're going to be asked is your personal journey with your disability. So I thought, yeah, I'll do a story time kind of how my disability has affected my life throughout time, and it has quite dramatically. So that's what this video is going to be about. Very melodramatic title, I know, but it gets the point across. So yeah, that's what this is going to be. So if you're interested, please keep watching. So before I start this, I'm just going to give a quick trigger warning for talk of medical issues, talk of pain, and parental abuse, drug use, and sexual abuse. The reason I'm talking about those last three is because one of the things I'm suspected to have, fibromyalgia, is known to be exacerbated, if not caused, by the trauma you've gone through. So I feel like not talking about that would be an incorrect view on that condition that I think that I'm almost definitely have. So I'm not going to go into detail on any of those things. I'm just going to mention that it was going on or that it happened at this time. I'm definitely not going to go into detail. That's not what this video is about, and I am not really going to talk about them in the channel right now because it triggers me as well. So I'm definitely not going to be talking about any of those things in detail anytime soon. So yeah, that's what this is about. Yeah. So that done, let's get started. Okay, so my pain first started when I was around 14. So I was in, I think, year 10. If you're from the UK, you know when that is. So that's when that started for me. I was not able to go to the doctors at that time, and here comes the parental abuse. I was with my father, who was abusing me, and I mentioned I have this pain all over my body, just everywhere, and I was not able to go to the doctors. So I was here with this global, widespread pain. It was everywhere, and I had no access to any sort of medical treatment, which took me down a pretty dark road, because I was 14, and when I was 14 I went towards drugs. I spoke to someone who I knew was a drug dealer, and I said, I don't want to get high, I just want this pain to go away. And she gave me OxyContin, Oxys, which is a very strong painkiller. So that's when that started. So yeah, people say that trauma is a gateway to drugs, and so is chronic illness. So yeah, I started that when I was 14. I'm losing the sun. Oh no. Give me a second. Hopefully that's a lot better. So yeah, I started, I got addicted to drugs at a very young age, which came with its own problems that we are not going into right now. So yeah, Then it came up to GCSEs, which is our big test in England, in the UK, when we turned 16, and my disability caused big troubles for me because I have brain fog, which is a kind of it's a kind of, I don't really know how to describe it. It's this kind of thing that you have that is attested to chronic illness, especially fibromyalgia, and it's like I could read a question over and over again, but I just wouldn't understand it. I just didn't understand, and it was so frustrating because people think of brain fog and they think, oh, memory loss, oh, you forget a single word, but it takes over your entire life. Like, I was just out of it, and I couldn't be present. I just wasn't there, which was very iffy. And also, I have suspected Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and I was a big English buff. I did a lot of essays, I did a lot of all that, and my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome meant that my fingers would consistently dislocate when I was writing. So I couldn't write quickly. I couldn't, like, every time I wrote quickly, my fingers would literally pop out of their joints and cause incredible amounts of pain in my wrist and all of my hands. So I couldn't get enough information on. And all my teachers would say, you're incredible when you're talking, but when it comes to, like, writing stuff down, you just don't do it. You only get, like, a page. And it's like, I know, but I couldn't tell anyone because of stuff going on at home. So it wasn't fun, and I ended up doing really badly at my GCSEs. I only just scraped good enough grades to get into sixth form. At the same time, when I was 16, I was sexually assaulted for the first time. So, not going to go any more into it than that. It just meant that my pain got worse. Because it's a trauma response. It's my pain got worse. It's like I thought it was bad, but it just kind of ballooned. Well, I mean, I don't know if balloon's the word. Is that the phrase? Just, I thought my pain was bad. It got 10 times worse. That's what happened. So it wasn't fun. But yeah, that happened. So yeah, I went on to my AS levels, which is the first year of A levels. When you're 17, you do AS levels, and when you're 18, you do A levels, and it's just the two things. And I was just getting worse. I remember I took 3 essay-based subjects. I took English literature, English language, and media studies. And yes, I was pretentious and intolerable. I was. I've got better. But yeah, I did that. I took 3 essay-based subjects, but my hands, they just kept popping out. I just had to look at them wrong, and they would just pop out of their joints, which isn't fun. It's incredibly painful, and it just meant that I couldn't write. So I was addicted to OxyContin, I had massive amounts of brain fog, and I couldn't write, which is not a good combination for doing your AS levels. It's really not. It's really... no. So, as you'll have guessed by now, I did terribly in my AS levels. I remember sitting in my test, my exam for English literature, and I kept reading. I think I spent 50% of that time just reading the question over and over and over and over, and I just didn't understand what we had to do. I just didn't get it. I didn't know what to do. So yeah, I think I wrote like 2 paragraphs on just the most basic things to write to do with English literature, and as you'll guess, I got a D, a U and a U, which yeah. I then dropped out. I dropped out of A-levels and I went on to college. And I decided to do a turnaround because I knew I was never going to do well in an English subject because they're all essay based. And instead, I went into health and social in wanting to go to nursing because I wanted to be a paediatric nurse or a social worker for children, and both of those go through health and social. So I started health and social at college. So that's what I did. So the thing with college was we did in a college day when I went in, I had to get up at 6:30. I would get on the bus at 7. I would be on the bus for an hour and a half, arrive in Newcastle at 8:30, and I would then walk all the way through Newcastle city centre to college. I would then do a full day, walk all the way back through the city centre to get back to the bus stop, spend another hour and a half on the bus, and I would end up getting home at like 5:30, 6:30. So that's a 12-hour day, and my pain was just getting worse, and I couldn't. It was just really bad. It was just terrible, really. It was just constant pain, and I just kept like I just remember one day I had to leave 1 hour lecture 5 times to go to the bathroom and just keel over. And I was throwing up out of the pain. I was just unable to walk. I was like holding myself on my stomach and just kneeled over like this, and it was really ugly. And around March I ended up in March that year, February that year, I left my abusive father. I ran away, but I ended up homeless, and during that time I was sexually assaulted again. So pain ballooned once more. Instead of 10 times worse, it was 100 times worse. But one good thing is that time did get me sober. So I am now drugs free, alcohol free. I'm just completely sober. I don't touch anything. So yay, good for me. But yeah, that happened, and I really struggled with everything. I wasn't going to college. I wasn't doing my work experience. I wasn't doing anything. I just went into a massive depression, and I just spent days in bed not doing anything. Just pain getting worse by the day. It just wasn't fun. Yeah. After being homeless, I ended up at a little place called, it was a charity, and they rent out flats and they find people between the age of 16 and 25 who are homeless, and they put them up in the flats, and it's for vulnerable people, which I was, and we go there for as long as we need to, and yeah, so I ended up there, and during that time I ended up pulling myself together enough to take my tests. I did my coursework, I did my test, and I got a merit, but I never went back to work experience, and at the end of the year I dropped out. So I wasn't in school anymore. And yeah, I wasn't in school, and I was still getting worse. And it was January. It was I was stuck in this limbo for a really long time of just being alone and in pain, and there was nothing going on in my life. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have anything. I just was there. I just existed. So yeah, it was January 2018 when I finally went to the doctors for the first time about my pain. And I thought it was going to be amazing. I thought, I'm finally going to get myself sorted out. This pain is going to go away. Something's going to happen. And here comes in the medical gaslighting and negligence that most people with chronic illnesses experience. First time I get told it's probably your mental illness, and you know, that's fine. They put me on antidepressants. I went on. Pain didn't go away. I went back and I got told point blank, you're just trying to get drugs. Like, you're a drug seeker. And keeping in mind, the NHS have never known about my drug use. Never. And I was a young person. I don't even know if I was an adult yet. Can't remember. I don't even know if I was an adult. I came in saying, I have this global pain all over my body. I can't do anything. I was sitting there in tears, hunched over, obviously in pain. And this doctor looked at me and said, you're seeking out drugs. And yeah, that was, I mean, it hurts. I mean, it takes so long because they just don't believe you. Or they just say, oh, we're going to swap you on a different antidepressant. We're going to put you on a different antidepressant. And it just swaps through all the different antidepressants that they can think of. So I was going through withdrawals and then starting a new antidepressant, then withdrawals and starting a new antidepressant. And I had this constant pain the entire way through. Like, it wasn't helping my pain. It was just destroying my mental health even more. So yeah, during this time, I finally got back in touch with my mother, who I hadn't seen since I was 9, and through no fault of hers. And we were in touch, and I was downplaying how it was very much because I didn't want to overwhelm her. It's like, we've just got back in touch. If she finds out that I'm this mess who can't be in education, can't have a job, can't do anything, I'm just useless sack of pain, she's not going to want me. So I was downplaying it. I was saying, I'm at the doctor's, I'm just on sick leave, I'm just going to see what's going on. But then it got worse, and I remember basically I was in the kitchen and I just suddenly flared, which is when your pain suddenly gets worse, and I fell over and I passed out just from the pain. And when I woke up, I was on the floor, and I was in so much pain and I was so weak that I couldn't push myself up off the floor. So I was just lying there, and I was laying there for days because I didn't have my phone. There was no one else in the flat. There was no one coming. I was just laying there and throwing up. And for 3 days, I was just lying there in pain, and I couldn't do anything because I couldn't get up. And that is when I decided to, that is when I decided to be honest with my mum about how bad it was. And within the month I was moving in with her, and I moved in with her into my childhood home, and she became my full-time carer. So I moved in with my mum. She became my carer. She works full-time, and she's also my full-time carer. So it's difficult. It's been a while, but I moved in with her in 2019. Yeah, 2019, and I was there, and it's obviously now 2021, and during that time I have finally gotten a referral to a rheumatologist. I have started to have my tests. I have started to have my tests. I have been referred to physio, so I've started doing small movements that are supposed to help me strengthen my muscles. But right now that's where it's ended. So we're just waiting to see what happens next. Sorry. Yeah, that's what's happened. It took a long time for me to get rid of my internalized ableism enough to admit that I need to use crutches. So now I use crutches when I go out. I have my mum's help when I go around the house, but I don't, but anytime I leave the house I use my crutches. And yeah, so as of today, as of my daily routine today, I am in bed about 19-20 hours of the day. I'm almost completely bedridden. I come downstairs, I manage to come down the stairs for tea usually, but I can't really do anything. I'm just a vegetable. We're in the process of getting things, but I'm still undiagnosed, which means I don't get any help from the government. I don't get anything. I'm just constantly, it's just, it's hell. So, yeah, I get no help from anybody except my mum. I'm in the process of getting my diagnosis, hopefully. I've been to the rheumatologist. Well, I've been on the phone to the rheumatologist because, COVID. But we went, and she said we're going to wait a couple of months when we had it. So I don't know when the next one is, but that should be soon, hopefully. As of right now, she thinks I have fibromyalgia, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and postural tachycardia syndrome. So those are the three things she thinks I have. But I'm not diagnosed, and diagnosis is definitely a privilege, because without the diagnosis, I still have all the symptoms. I'm still suffering. I just don't have the diagnosis that means I have help from the government. I don't have access to the pain clinic or any other forms of the NHS. I don't have access to monetary help. I'm just on my own. In the eyes of the government, I'm a 20-year-old healthy person, and I'm not. I'm really not. So I'm really looking forward to that diagnosis, but right now I don't. So I'm just gonna take this moment to plug a GoFundMe I have. I'll link it down below. It's to help me get access to a chiropractor, which would help with my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a massage therapist that would help with my fibromyalgia, just things that I can't have access to while I'm not diagnosed. And this diagnosis has taken 7 years, and I'm still not there. I'm still not anywhere near it. So yeah, if you want to help, that would be very much appreciated. So yeah, that's my video of how my disability has affected my life. If you want to ask any questions, or if I get enough questions, I might do a Q&A. It really depends, but if you do have any questions, comment them, and I'll if I get enough, then I will do a Q&A. But yeah, that's it really. Yeah. Before you comment, remember I'm non-binary and I use they them pronouns exclusively, so please don't refer to me as a she or a her. I would appreciate that. So yeah, that's this video. I hope it was interesting enough to get you to subscribe. I have loads of ideas in the future. Some of those ideas are things like reacting to ableist memes, doing a lot of like talking about topics that are going on in the world. I know there's a lot of transphobic thing going on, and I would love to put in my 2 cents about that. Obviously doing a lot to do with my lesbianism, and I'm also thinking about doing a video of how I realised I was non-binary. So those are a few of my video ideas. If you are interested, I would love for you to subscribe. Alright, bye!